all these dudes from Dagestan.
Oh my God.
Invade and dominate.
We thought when we saw Khabib, that was the complete version. You see Islam and he possesses all those same skills.
With striking.
So what about the next one?
They're very religious. With Islamic religion, they don't drink, they don't party, no girls, no nothing, just food and training and fights.
Islam and Khabib are great wrestlers, but where people don't realize they're not at the highest level at all. They're not even in the maybe top 30.
You're supposed to ask me what difference between Dagestan wrestling and American wrestling. This is a good question.
The American wrestling, brother, the mountain wrestling is big different. Khabib shows wrestling skills, our skills.
They have a very, very disciplined camp.
When Khabib walks into the room, it's like an army. We all get up, we all stand in line.
They are significantly better than the Americans and everyone.
It kind of got to the point where if you're not from the Caucasus, I don't want to hear about your wrestling credentials.
Alhamdulillah, I know you got this, they don't like this. Alhamdulillah, tomorrow night I'm gonna smash your boy, guys.
Khabib Nurmagomedov. In October 2018, he defeated the former champ and UFC legend Conor McGregor. Even Khabib traces his roots to the wrestling culture of the Dagestani highlands. In this viral video, this dude is wrestling a bear at 9 years old.
People always say the same thing. Dagestani fighters are built different. They're born tougher. Must be something in the mountains. But that explanation is lazy. What you're looking at isn't magic, genetics, or myths. It's a system. And once you see how it works, the dominance suddenly makes sense.
When I was about to start fighting and when I started fighting, I said, man, when these Russian dudes from these regions start to come, it's going to be a problem. Because you know how good they were as wrestlers. What's going to happen when these guys come into fighting? There was one guy that beat me in the Olympic semifinals. His name was Hajimurad Gutsalov. We're lucky that fight because he would have beat everybody, and John Jones included. Every one of them would have got their ass whipped by that dude.
Really?
Bro, you have to understand, Islam and Khabib have been training wrestling since they were 5 years old. You cannot beat that. And if you do, you get it with a lucky shot.
In Dagestan, wrestling doesn't start as a career choice. It starts as childhood. Kids begin training as young as 5 or 6 years old, not once or twice a week, but almost every day. Local gyms act like second homes. They teach discipline, structure, and responsibility before anyone even thinks about MMA. By the time a Dagestani fighter turns 15, he already has more mat time than many pros elsewhere. This isn't specialization, it's immersion.
Dagestan is also known for producing some of the fiercest mixed martial arts fighters in the world, who dominate its most prominent and lucrative organization, the UFC.
Dagestan. There's just something in the water over there. Yeah. They create
well, they're trained with bears, right?
Here's the part nobody likes to talk about. Dagestani fighters train full-time, 2 sessions a day, every day. Morning, 90 to 120 minutes of wrestling and pressure. Afternoon, conditioning, sparring, or recovery. No side jobs, no school schedules, no expensive gym memberships. Now compare that to the West. In the US and Europe, most fighters train around life. Jobs, school, rent, gym fees, and long commutes. Dagestanis don't fit training into life. Life is built around training. And when you do that for 10 to 15 years straight, the gap becomes permanent.
They have a very, very disciplined camp, right? Like you have to have your hair cut a certain way. You can't be around showing up with blue mohawks or nothing crazy. Like, it's very disciplined, right?
That's one of the reasons why they're all successful. When Khabib walks into the room, it's like an army. We all get up, we all stand in line. He'll stand in line, he'll point to who's sparring hard in the cage. Most teams I've trained at will have a sparring day like Monday or Wednesday, whereas for them, they're doing everything every day. You're not going to show up late and smile and laugh. Once he lines everybody up, you better sprint there in that line because he's going to tell you what your duties are for that day. You have to pray 5 times a day, and every single one of the guys is doing that. None of their guys are drinking. None of their guys are going out and partying. If there's guys that come to practice and they look a little bit tired, Khabib will take their phone away from them, and he won't give it to them until the next day tomorrow morning. You have to go to sleep, get a good night's sleep, and then next practice, he'll give you your phone back. They don't want to lose any round in practice. They don't want to lose any minute in grappling. And I think that's what transfers their mentality into the cage.
I know if we want to be the best, they got to be by these guys. And so we sent them. And Khabib had him in his gym every day. Khabib is a great guy, right? He bought hotels for him. He'd feed him. He said, just get him here. They trained for a month. They told me, they said, Coach, we practice with you. Dagestan, it's training. It's in the morning, it's in the midday, and it's in the evening. you're training all day, long practices. These kids told me, Joe, that they do about 30 minutes of gymnastics before they start practice. Gymnastics for the flexibility and body discipline and body control and everything. So they're flipping and doing all kinds of stuff before they ever got to wrestling. They're operating at a different level, man. That's why you see Makhachev like being who he is.
Dagestani fighters don't rise fast, they survive filtering. From childhood onward, they compete constantly. Freestyle wrestling, sambo, judo, national tournaments, hundreds of matches before MMA is even an option. In the US, wrestling often ends at 21. In Europe, volume is lower and competition is fragmented. Dagestan doesn't produce many fighters. It filters ruthlessly until only the durable remain.
You're supposed to ask me what difference between Dagestan wrestling and American wrestling. This is a good question. I think it's big difference. I know you know how to wrestle, but what about wrestling 25 minutes? I told DC today, when you fight with Stipe Miocic last time, you grab his leg one time and you take him down, and he get up very quickly, and that's it, and you finish. Other minutes all going stand up. But between me and DC is big difference. If I'm gonna try to take him down once and he gonna defend is good, I'm gonna go all night.
They are significantly better than the Americans and everyone. If you look at the wrestling that the Dagestani guys do in fighting, it's not wrestling. Like, if you look at freestyle wrestlers historically in the UFC don't hold anybody down. Takedowns are scored by the actual takedowns in freestyle wrestling. Down, and when we were fighting means nothing. It's the control that actually scores. Like, can you hold the guy down and actually keep him down and do damage?
And that's why the Daggies are dominant.
They see Khabib and they think about mixed martial arts.
Yes.
What does it say about wrestling as a foundation for fighting in Dagestan?
У нас в Дагестане, если даже ты боксер, ты умеешь хорошо проходить ноги. Потому что хочешь не хочешь, ты должен уметь бороться.
People think Dagestani fighters are calm because of mentality. It's simpler than that. They've already been here hundreds of times. Listen to the commentary. Doesn't panic, calm like it's training, system-based pressure. When chaos hits, nothing feels new. This isn't confidence, it's familiarity.
Islam and Khabib are great wrestlers. Like, they really are, like, you know, MMA wrestling. But where they come from, where people don't realize, they're not at the highest level at all. I'm talking like the Abdul Rashids, the Gadisovs, the best wrestlers. Like, they're not even in the maybe top 30, top 50. I spent a lot of time in Dagestan wrestling from like 16 to like 19. I was in Makhachev.
2-3 years to forget,
yeah,
huh?
Exactly. It was in where they come from in Dagestan, in the Caucasus Mountains with wrestling. I mean, it's the highest level. I'm talking 3-time Olympic champions. I wrestled a lot there, so I got to see the highest level.
All those guys from Dagestan, that is a hard spot in the world, man. There's some killers coming out of that spot.
I mean, they hungry. They're hungry. They got a lot to fight for.
They got a lot to fight for, and a lot of those guys, I think they have this advantage in that they're very religious. So with their Islamic religion, they don't drink, they don't party, no girls, no nothing, just food and training and fights. And that focus.
Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov built the foundation: discipline, structure, patience. After his passing, the system didn't disappear. It evolved. Since 2020, Dagestani camps added more sports science: altitude cycling for cardio, cryotherapy and recovery protocols, nervous system reaction drills, structured sleep and nutrition. They live high, train low, then return to sea level sharper. Old school grit upgraded with data. That's why the dominance didn't fade. It leveled up.
It's American wrestling, brother. Mountain wrestling, it's big different. So actually, guys, you remember like what Khabib did to Gaethje? And I seen some videos when Gaethje and Usman wrestling. They wrestle like 50-50 maybe. Maybe Usman became a bit heavier, a little bit better. But Khabib shows wrestling skills. It's our skills, you know. So everyone knows almost same style when they're wrestling. And Khabib, man, gonna be same shit, man.
It kind of got to the point where if you're not from the Caucasus, I don't want to hear about your wrestling credentials. You know?
MMA guru, and I kind of believe him on this. He says, if you have wrestling, your wrestling pedigree is from America. I don't give a shit what it is. If you're coming from Caucasus, meaning like, you know, Dagestan, Georgia, the wrestling is better.
I can't agree with that, man.
Really?
Man, you're going crazy. You let this dude convince you that?
I'm training leg locks at 8 years old.
Yes.
I'm going to be way better off than a guy who's just training
MMA.
In MMA.
Except for the outliers. Like myself.
Yes.
Like you. You're talking about if we put 100 wrestlers and we just do the data, they'll
Data.
probably have more success because they've been striking and grappling long.
Exactly.
Everyone asks the same question. Why doesn't everyone just copy Dagestan? Because this system depends on free gyms, early specialization, low cost of living, cultural respect for wrestling, and insane competition volume. You cannot import that with motivation. You need decades.
When you see a guy like Khabib Nurmagomedov just run through people in the UFC and you know where that guy's from, you got to go, well, how many more of those guys are over there? The Dagestan crew, that's a warrior group of people. Yeah.
Jack Della Maddalena, welterweight champion, months of training, and they want me to go over there and beat Islam in 1 day notice. Like, that's impossible, right? If you give Islam space, he gonna get you in a submission. So the best thing you can do is just survive the round. But that's the problem. First round, and then you got tired, and then the second round, and, and then on the fifth, was crying. I don't know if you saw that. JDM looked like he was crying, like the frustration.
Just defeated mentally, bro.
Yeah, defeated mentally. And man, that shows how good Islam is and how good Khabib's camp is, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Double champ, brother.
Dagestani fighters aren't born different. They are built by systems, repetition, and time. No myths, no bears, just infrastructure that works.